All right, well, let's get moving then. Thanks everybody for joining. My name is Cameron Laird. I am the product director in charge of PropertyBoost here at Inside Real Estate. And today we're going to take some time going over the PropertyBoost product. This will be a refresher for some people. And I will go through, if you're new to PropertyBoost, you don't understand what it is, I'll get you getting ready to go, get started with the product to make sure you understand what it is. For those who are brand new to it, PropertyBoost is an advertising product that we offer at Inside Real Estate that helps you market your listings on social media through Facebook, making it super easy for you to get lots of exposure for your listings, as well as generating leads into kvCORE for you. It is a fully automated program. So the biggest advantage of using PropertyBoost is that we take care of all the complex stuff related to advertising a listing. So there's no need to worry about getting, the creative together, gathering the photos, picking and choosing things, making sure you write the copy, figuring out how to build an ad on Facebook. We take care of all of that for you so that within a few clicks, you can actually create a well-rounded advertisement on Facebook to get your properties out there as soon as you possibly can. We also take care of all the scheduling. We get it started, excuse me, we finish it after it is, after the ad is finished, so we don't have to worry about going back and stopping it. And we also send you wonderful emails to let you know how your ads are performing throughout the duration of the ad. So the power behind PropertyBoost is actually what we refer to as a lead form. This is a product of Facebook that makes our ads super engaging and easy to use and promote people to click through and register without any effort. And what this really does is, if you see on the left-hand side here, I've got my ad for my property. And when I click on Learn More, I'm shown a form. And this form will actually be pre-filled with all of the information that I expose through Facebook. So it'll have my name, full name, email address, phone number, all of that stuff will be pre-populated, making it really, really easy for people to click through to get to see what they want to see in terms of more information about the property, other photos. It'll pre-register them and get a lead created into kvCORE with really solid contact information. And this does increase the chances that you're going to get somebody to register because the information is already populated for you. So it really lowers the bar of entry and makes it a super easy thing to do. So what you find is that the leads that come through from PropertyBoost really do have a really high percentage of good contact information in the phone number and the email address to make it really easy for you to reach out and contact these people. Now, you might be asking yourself, why don't I just create a post on my own? Of course, you can totally do that. You can create a post, you can boost it, you can buy your own advertisement, but it takes time and effort. And if you're not familiar with that, it can be difficult for you to do. It can take time, takes time away from what you do best as a real estate agent working with your clients. But we make it super easy for you to post these onto Facebook and get your ads promoted for your properties. The other thing that I hear commonly from people, not commonly, but I do hear it from time to time, is, does this get posted on my own Facebook page? I don't have a Facebook business page. I've got a problem with mine. You don't have to worry about that. You don't even need to have a Facebook account. We use a generic Facebook page that all of these properties get posted onto. So you don't even need to worry about having Facebook. So it is completely optional for you to have your own account. So the nice thing about PropertyBoost as well, we have multiple ad templates for you to choose from. There's 4 different templates that you could use to promote your listing. So all 4 of these templates, they all sit on top of that same lead form that we talked about, and they all have different purposes. And I'll take you through a quick tour of what those different properties, those different templates look like. First and foremost, we have our listing ad. This is your generic, template that's best to promote your newest listings. You want to do this when the listing first comes on the market. You can see that it says just listed. You've got some basic details there, like the number of bedrooms and bathrooms. You've got a photo, enough to sort of entice somebody to click through to get more information about this particular property. They know where it is, and it allows them to see a little bit about the property, but enticing them to click through. Once they click through, they have that form, it'll pre-register them, and it'll drop them on the listing detail page on your website so they can see all of the information and that you're capturing that lead. At that point, they can also start searching and looking at other properties around your site. Next up, we have the open house template. So this is great for promoting an open house. You can see we change it up a little bit on this one. You do have the address showing up as well as the dates and times for two different open house events that you may have. You can see down below the call to action has changed here. It's telling you a little bit about that's an open house at 140 McDonald Crescent. You can click to learn more. This is a great one to use for promoting those open house events as they're coming up. If you've already got a listing that's been on the market for a while and you've got this open house, you want to promote that, you can do that. If your listing already has open house information attached to it with the MLS, this information will actually be pre-populated for you in PropertyBoost if we receive that information from them, and it'll already pre-populate in the ad to make it super easy for you to create. The one note about this one is that it's we do have some restrictions on when you can create these. So you typically want to run an open house ad about 3 days or more before the open house to give time for that ad to get running, generating some traffic and getting some interest. So you wouldn't want to run it. We don't actually allow you to run it too closely. So you couldn't start this on a Friday, for example, for a Saturday or a Sunday open house. Next up, we have the price reduced. So you can see here, we've got this price reduced one. So when your price changes on your property, you've got this new lower price. You want to promote that, get it out there. You can create this template. Again, we give you the address as well as the price. But again, you've got that call to action to click and see more details. And last but not least, you've got the brand new one, which is our just sold listing type. And this is brand new. This has just been released in the last, this week actually. So it's brand new, and it's a way for you to promote your listings that have been sold. So we've got this full life cycle now of templates that can help you promote your listing from the moment that it gets listed right through to when that listing is sold. And you can use this all over the place. So that's a little bit about our templates. The next question I always get is, what listings can I actually boost? So you have those 4 different templates. What listings can I use? Really simply, you can boost any of your own active listings. You can work with other agents in your own office to borrow their listings. So just like with any other advertising medium, you want to make sure you get permission from the agent. But the guidelines that I like to give is that the listing must be available on your website. And I'll show you where to look in kvCORE in a minute, but basically work with the agents around you. If you don't have any listing inventory, you want to try and get a boost to your business, you can do that through borrowing somebody else's listing and getting that going for you. So down below, you've also got the ability to boost recently sold listings and manual listings. This is a brand new one. So I see lots of questions come through the chat about, is there a template for coming soons? It's coming soon. But if you do have a listing that's not currently on the market and you want to promote that, or it's just going to come on the market, we do have the ability to boost those listings that are manual in your kvCORE system. And I'll show you all about that and how to identify them as we get going. And I'm going to do a live demonstration in just a few minutes. So hang tight and I will walk you through how to do all of this stuff. So to get started, what we want to do is we want to use the marketplace. So in the on the left-hand side, this is a picture of your dashboard in kvCORE. I'm going to go live to kvCORE in a couple seconds and show you how to do this. But in the left-hand side in this gray bar, you can see that there is a button that says marketplace. All of the products that we talk about in these webinars are all housed within the marketplace section. You want to click on that. And then the next thing you can do to find PropertyBoost, you can either search for it by name, or you can click on where it says leads up here at the top of the screen. That'll filter things down to just lead generation and nurturing opportunities. And then you can click on PropertyBoost and that'll take you right in there. Another way to do this was to do it from the listings tab in kvCORE. So I'm going to click on listings. I can click on any of the listings that are available to me in my listings tab, and then I can click on boost, and that will get me right into creating a boost for you as well. And then last but not, another way to do it is actually from the listing page within the listings tab. I can pick a listing. You'll see that under more actions, there's boost properties. And then last but not least, we actually send out these reminder emails to you every single time you get a new listing. If you have an open house coming up, if the price changes on your properties, we will actually send you an email that will say, hey, we've got this property boost ready to go for you. all you have to do is just click on the finish your ad button. It'll take you right into PropertyBoost so you can go and build an ad for yourself right from the email. So we make it really, really easy for you to do this, and it will make sure that you've got a couple of different options for how you get into doing the boost. Okay, so I'm going to click over now and do a live demonstration for you. I'm going to just go into kvCORE. And I'm going to take you through how to go about doing this. So I was showing you before, the dashboard is sort of where we start off our day. We've got our, all of the information about our system, what leads I've got coming in. I've got my, calendar, my business and tasks and all that kind of stuff here. And then in the left-hand column here, I'm going to click on Marketplace. And that's going to take me into this spot that we saw in the screenshot. Up at the very top here, you've got all sorts of different ways to filter this down into different products that are available for you, different categories. I'm going to go with leads. I'm going to see all of my advertising products are all available to me here, and I'm going to select PropertyBoost to sign in. Okay. So if you haven't used PropertyBoost before, it's not going to say sign in. It's going to say learn more. And then once you go into it, you'll have to click on add to kvCORE. Once you've done that, it's going to show just like I've showing here on the screen. From there, it's going to take you into the PropertyBoost user interface. So on the home screen of PropertyBoost, you've got a whole bunch of different information, shares about the pricing, all the the information about the product. There is a short video you can watch if you want to sort of get a quick recap on what we're talking about today. You can click and watch that video. But I'm going to start off just by searching for an address. And just for illustration purposes, I'm going to show you how to all the demonstration I'm going to do today is going to be with a manual listing, but I'll show you a couple of different options as well. So I'm going to show you first with a real listing. So I'm going to put in here the name of an ad of a property. And what you'll see here is there are actually two options that come up. And this is because I'm picking a listing here that is currently active, but we also have a record of it being sold. So I've got two different versions. And what I'm showing you here is that you can see this one has sold next to it, and that's just showing you which version of the ad it is. If I want to click on the active MLS one, that's this one right here. For my purposes today, I'm going to show you using my manual listing. And you can see here, it shows up as manual. So just to quickly go back on that, for those who are not aware, if we go into listings, and I can click here under manual listings, this is where you go in kvCORE to create a listing that doesn't exist on the MLS. So I've got my listing here. This is the one I've created. And you can see all the information that's captured about it. I can go in and edit it. You can see that you can have different statuses. This one said it's exclusive. Could be a coming soon or a sold, up to you. But you don't even need to have this field for the purposes of doing a property boost. You can upload some photos, provide the listing details about it, what the price is, when it's going on the market, when to remove it from your website, etc. So we create the manual listing here. And then when we go into PropertyBoost, we can actually use that one to boost the property. So create the listing first, then you can go into here. I can use this manual listing. It's identified by manual inside of the parentheses. I'm going to click on use listing. And now we start on PropertyBoost. So at the very, very top of the page, you can see I've got my 4 different boost types. So if I want to do this one as a sold listing, for example, maybe it's a listing that I sold in the last couple of months, but it's not in my feed anymore. I can click here, put it on just sold, and now I can create a sold one for that. If I want to do a listing, I can do it here. And I'll just give you a quick tour of this interface to make sure you understand how to use it. So as we go through, there's a couple of things I can do. I can select a different image. So if I want to really showcase a different feature, I don't want to use the first image that comes through in the feed, I can pick from a selection of images. I also can choose to display the price if I want to. So you can see when I clicked on that button, it actually highlights over here on the template, the preview over here, that's showing you that I've got the price listed as well for this property. And then I can choose where the which landing page it'll land on. So if I have multiple websites underneath of my account, if I'm a team admin or maybe an office administrator where I've got multiple different websites in my account, I can pick which one I want to use. And that's where people are going to land when they see your listing on Facebook. The other thing that's really interesting here is this targeting. So by default, what we do is we use the property and we draw a 15-mile radius around the property. And that's what defines the audience of who is going to be eligible to see this ad on Facebook. And then Facebook goes and does their magic with their algorithm, and they decide, who to show it to, when, and based on how much you're paying, et cetera. And they show this listing to whoever is in their algorithm as a potential audience. But you can change that up as well. And where this becomes particularly useful is if your market is in an area that draws people from other areas. So if you maybe are in a coastal region that draws in vacationers, or potentially, maybe it's a lake house or something like that, you can actually click here and to change the targeting, and I can pick a different city. So I know for a fact where this city is, a lot of people will want to move here from Toronto. So I can actually choose Toronto as the city and click save. And now when this ad runs, it's actually going to generate an audience that is based not within a 15-mile radius, but a little further away in the city of Toronto. So that's how this works with the targeting, and you can choose to change that or not. I'll show you the open house functionality as we go as well. So if I change this ad from a listing to an open house, you'll see that another little widget shows up here on the interface where I can actually click on this, and I can choose to run a open house. Maybe I've got one running next Saturday, for example, from 2 to 4 p.m. I can add a second one as well. So maybe I'm going to run it on Sunday as well, on October 3rd. Again, from 2 to 4. And you'll see these things show up right in the template as we go. So as soon as I do that, it'll update the template, and you're getting this view of exactly what your ad will look like on Facebook. Now down below, it does say example ad shown. It may appear different in reality. That's only because Facebook can change the templates up from time to time and what their user interface looks like, but this is relatively up to date as to what it looks like now. So this is just giving you that sample of what it looks like. So that's how we do that. We can change it over to a price reduced. I can change it to a sold. All of these options are available to me because it is a manual listing. If you come into this interface and you're boosting a sold listing, the only option you'll have is to do a sold listing. So it will restrict it for you automatically based on the listing type. So if it's an active listing or a manual listing, you can choose any of the 4 templates that you want to use. If it's a sold listing, you can only do a sold boost. So once I've done this and I've got my ad all set up the way I like it, I can actually just scroll down. I can now pick my price. I can choose how long I want this ad to run for. So most people will actually choose a 1-week ad at $60. That's giving you some pretty good value. It's going to run for 7 days. $60 is what you need to pay. $60 US, I should say, is what you pay for a 1-week ad. You can run a 3-day ad for $45. Once you get up into 3 weeks and above, you're actually going to get a break on the overall price of the property. Of the boost. So you will save a little bit as you go into the higher, duration boosts. Once I've done that, I scroll down, I enter in my payment information, and I complete checkout. And that's all we have to do. So we've really come in here. Once you've boosted a property once, your credit card information will be saved. But once you've done this one time, it makes it really easy to come back and do it again and again. So once you generate your boost and it gets out there, you're going to come back. You're going to see your leads come into kvCORE. They're going to be hashtagged automatically, and it'll be easy to identify them as we go. So that's it for my live demonstration. So the next thing I'm going to just go through is a little bit around following up on your PropertyBoost leads in kvCORE, because this is sort of the next, the next sort of logical step of what do I do with these once I get them into kvCORE. So before we go on, I want to just sort of identify who these people are. So when we are showing these ads on Facebook, you're typically getting fairly passive people who are clicking through on your ads. They've seen these ads as they're scrolling through, looking at other things. They're looking on their Facebook. They're seeing pictures of their friends and their family. And then this ad sort of has piqued their interest some way. We're identifying who are homeowners and renters to show the ad to. Facebook is doing that automatically. They're in the general vicinity of the home. They're identified as being homeowners or renters, or more likely to be. And they saw this looked interesting and they clicked on it passively. So the approach that we recommend for responding to PropertyBoost leads needs to be low pressure, providing value for days, weeks, months, and even years beyond, in order to get a good percentage of them to actually work with you. So I'm going to outline a little bit of what you can do to follow up with these leads on through kvCORE. So as I take a drink of water. So to follow up, we want to use low pressure tactics. We want to use calls and texts right away to make it about following up on the action that they just performed. So somebody has just clicked on this and they have, they've registered on your site. You get the notification in kvCORE about this new lead that's come in from your PropertyBoost ad. All it takes is a simple call or text following up to say, hey, I saw you were looking at 123 Main Street online. Did you get all the information okay? Are you a homeowner or renter? Just a really quick connection to the action they just performed is a really good way to get started with these. They may say that they're not interested. They just clicked. They wanted to look at the photos, but it's a good opening for you to reach out to them through call or text just to make sure that they got what they were looking for from the ad. From there, you can actually go to the next step is to create some automated hashtag alerts. And what this is going to do is it's going to help to increase the return on that investment that you just made in PropertyBoost. Automatically, every contact that comes into kvCORE is going to be tagged with a hashtag that is unique to that listing. So in my case of the listing I was showing you, the address is 140 McDonald Crescent. And the PropertyBoost hashtag would be PB and the first 15 characters of the address. So it would be something like 140 McDonald Cre or something like that. And that's going to be easily identifiable. Once you've got that coming in, you can actually use that hashtag and use the marketing autopilot to set up triggers based on that hashtag or all of your PropertyBoost leads. So with that, I'll just sort of show you what I'm talking about. So when we go into our, I'm going to go into my Smart CRM. And you can see we've got all these different ads coming in here, all these different leads coming in. You can see any hashtags that are associated with them. You can see the source that's associated with them as well. And then when I go into my marketing automation, I'm going to go in here. And now I'm lost because this has changed since the last time I used it. We can actually start to set up alerts. So I can get myself lost in kvCORE for a second. Where am I looking now? I'm completely lost here. Maybe Annalisa can step in and help me with this for a second.
What were you seeking?
I want to look at where I set up actions based on the hashtag.
Oh, drop into search alerts.
Into search alerts, of course. Yep. There it is.
I mean, you're just testing me. I know that.
Yeah.
And then you're going to go into the where it says create alert right below. Yeah. So the top's all about what are alerts, but then this is where you get into the meat and potatoes.
Yeah. So what I could actually do is I can actually use the hashtag that that matches my PropertyBoost. So I'm going to say PB140. So this is what my hashtag would look like. So any leads that come in with that hashtag, I'm going to look for new properties in Milton, Ontario. My kvCORE isn't set up to match where I live, so it's not working for me at the moment, but you're going to choose the location and then put in any other keyword. So I can put in the number of bedrooms, number of bathrooms. So basically what I can do is I can create an automated search alert that matches the house that I just advertised on PropertyBoost. So anybody that comes in that automatically that has that hashtag, I'm going to add this alert to their account so that they can get those search alerts of any new properties that come in through the MLS. Maybe I just want to do based on a price range or some other attribute, but I can use that to automatically do this. The other thing that we can do is we can actually do some mass emails. Same thing, I can create a scheduled email I can use a hashtag here. So if I want to say, again, I've got, PB140, right? That's my Property Boost hashtag. I can write a little email. I can say, hey, good news. We have an open house coming up next weekend. And I can send this to all the people that actually have that hashtag, and I can give them any new information. I can keep dripping information to them using this mass email to share information about that property. So as the property goes through its life stages and we change things, whether it's new photos or an open house or maybe a new price, I can actually take all the people that have expressed some interest in that property through Property Boost, and now I can blast out emails to them using that hashtag. So it makes it really, really easy to use the information that's attached to them through the Property Boost lead to actually target them and get them with more information that they might want. Last but not least, we can also use, for the next thing, we can use the smart campaign. So I can actually create a smart campaign right within kvCORE to trigger off of those Property Boost, the Property Boost source, to automate my outreach. So when I get those new leads coming in and they're targeted with Property Boost, I can create a really simple little smart campaign in kvCORE to reach out and automate this first outreach that I have with them. This first, hey, I saw you were looking at that property. Did you get all the information? I can actually automate that using kvCORE. And then last but not least, this is the beast mode that I talked about here, which is basically filtering your contact database to everyone who responded to your ad, and then keeping them up to date with all the latest details about the property. And then if you want, if you do have anybody that sort of said they're not really interested, they don't want to, hear from you again on that property, just remove that hashtag from their contact. They stay in your database, but it still allows you to use that to automate your stuff. So that's what we can do there in terms of following up. Just a simple kind of 4 main things that you can use to follow up with Property Boost leads to maximize your investment there. So I got to wrap this up. I've been talking too much. I do this all the time. That's why I put that nice little slide there to remind me as we get going. So how is this going to help my business? First and foremost, it's going to get exposure for your listings on social media. These ads appear in the feeds of prospective homeowners and renters. There's no interruptions, so they do get really good clicks. It doesn't take any action on their own part other than clicking through to see more photos. They do generate really good traffic to your website to look at the listings that are being promoted. So that's a great thing. You'll generate leads, and that's what we're all here for. That's what we want. Property Boost leads are high quality. They've got really good contact information, and that's the most important thing. So that lead form that we're generating the leads on top of through Facebook does generate really good quality contact information on those leads, because it's like, I don't have to think about it. I just click through, I see my information, I click go, my information is being sent over. It's really, really good to get quality contacts for you. The other thing I didn't touch on before is that when you're going through the purchase process, at the end, you can actually add your seller into the listing onto your Property Boost, so they'll actually get the same updates in terms of how the ad is performing that you're getting on a daily basis. So they're going to get that information. You can put this in your listing presentation and really help to dazzle your sellers with Property Boost, because you're showing them up front what your commitment is to selling and marketing their property. The side effect of that, of course, is you're getting really good buyer leads coming into your database that you can use to grow your business. And then last but not least is you can use Property Boost again. So you can reboost your listings. If you have a listing that performed really, really well, boost it again. And we'll continue driving traffic to your website, generating new leads. Once the listing sells, you can use it again to try and get prospective sellers into your database. So really, really good to use your Property Boost again and again. Pricing, I'll just go over this again briefly. So starting at 3 days for $45, but it doesn't fit on the screen. So 1 week, $60 is what you're going to pay for a Property Boost at the bare minimum. The 3-day ads are also available to you, great for open houses, but typically a week is where people start with a listing ad. You get a price break the more that you go, the longer you go. So once you get to 3 weeks and above, you're actually saving about $10 per week on your ads as you're running them for longer and longer. That'd be really great for your seller ads. For example, you do a just sold, you want to run that for a few weeks. The listing isn't going anywhere. It's not going to change. It's already been sold. It's sold. So it's a really good one to run that longer duration ad program there for your PropertyBoost sold listings. The other thing I'm going to just show is in terms of this pro tip. So on average, we're seeing a cost per lead at about $7 on average coming through PropertyBoost, which is pretty decent. But you do get some unusual, some abnormal results as well. Like I'm showing you a couple of examples from a year or so ago where we get really, really high volume leads coming in, very, very low cost per lead. When you get situations like this where you're performing, below the average with one of your listings, generate a lot of a lot of interest and a lot of leads for you at a really low cost per lead. Run those ones again. You can, reboost the same property again once it's been completed to run those again and get that flow of leads coming in. So keep an eye on this. You have this great dashboard inside of PropertyBoost that shows you all of your ads that you've completed. You can reboost them right from there again, and all the ones that are performing it really well, low cost per lead. That's a good place to start. Last but not least, I want to sort of just share, this is a very long read here on the screen, but this is a bit of a testimonial from our Facebook group, from an agent who shared this with the group about how PropertyBoost was really successful for him. Basically ran an ad within less than an hour. He had a lead coming in from his PropertyBoost. He contacted with him 2 minutes, and that person had a house to sell in a few months before buying. And they were basically set up to work on this deal with this agent just through the response that they got. And the important thing to keep in mind about this is that, the lead came in and they responded within 2 minutes. And this person ended up having the first shot at over 700,000 in deals from that one PropertyBoost ad, let alone, after showing all that value and doing a great job for them, there's the whole referral, the repeat business down the road. So it's a really, really powerful tool with a really low cost per lead that can lead to some really fantastic results for you over time. And, I recommend PropertyBoost to anybody who's getting started with digital advertising in kvCORE because it's a really low barrier of entry. It's easy to do. It's low cost. You can run this again and again on all your listings, and it just sort of helps to get those listings flowing and performing for you down the road. So that's a little bit about PropertyBoost. With that, I'm going to open it up to questions from the team of folks who've been answering questions as we go. So I'm going to sort of shout out to Nick and the team there to see if there's any questions that we need to answer that have not been answered so far.
We have a couple folks asking how far back can they go to choose a sold listing to use this new feature on?
Oh yeah, I mean, it's opened up now. So if the sold listing is still available in our feed from the in our database, then it's available to boost. So I don't have a hard and fast answer for you on that one because it really depends on when it's sold and the rules about getting sold listings out of the database from that listing, it's from that MLS, etc. So I would say just go and search for it. If you see it come up and it says sold next to it, that's the sold record. If we don't have one, then what I would suggest you do is go in and create that manual listing and then boost the manual listing. Anything else?
Yeah, I see some
Alyssa?
questions there, Cameron. So there's been a few with a little confusion on the manual listings, like, hey, can I use this for a future open house or something? So you could create a manual listing for like an exclusive or a coming soon. I would say exclusive probably.
Yep.
And then put the information in there, and then you would have a unique link for that open house, and then you could boost via PropertyBoost. I would think that would work.
Yes, that would work. Yes.
And then if you could remind people, like Joe's asking, hey, for the sold PropertyBoost, what all is it capturing? What information is gathered and lands on the dashboard?
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great question. So let me just go back. I'm going to go back here. I'm going to go to this. I'm going to actually show you two things. So I'm going to start here. So in behind the sold Property Boost template is this same contact form. So you're getting a full name, email address, and phone number by default. And then I forgot to talk about a whole other aspect of the sold listing type. So by default, you're getting all of these contact details from the lead form. But then the other thing that you're getting, the other thing that we do differently about it with a sold boost than from a listing boost is we don't drop you onto a page on your website that shows off the listing. What we actually drop you on is a page like this. So when you go through and you create a lead, the first thing we do is we capture the contact details for you. From the lead form, name, email address, phone number. That gets dropped into kvCORE automatically, but then the lead is dropped onto this page where they can actually enter in their address. So I can enter in an address here. I can submit my information again. Oops. And then we actually get some additional information. Watch this. It's not going to do this because I've already got this. It's going to fail for me for a really stupid reason. Let me just, there we go. So once we capture that additional details, we also ask for the number of bedrooms, bathrooms, a condition report. Are we planning to sell? And we do ask for the cell phone number. Again, the reason we ask for this is because we use this in other places. But bottom line is that once we've got the lead, we drop them onto this page where we can ask them details about their property so that you can give them an evaluation. And this is something I left out of the presentation by mistake. It's my fault. This is all new information. I forgot to talk about this. So to answer the question, primarily you're going to get name, email address, phone number, and then we're going to drop them on this page. And for anybody that fills out this information, you're also going to get their full address and the details about their property through this lead form.
That's pretty slick and cool.
Yeah, and that's yeah, exactly. So this is a newer page we've added, gives us the ability. And the reason we don't ask for this other information through Facebook is because Facebook won't let us because of some rules they have around our special advertising category of real estate and home ownership. There are restrictions on what we can ask in that lead form, and it's basically limited to the person's contact information. Their address is off limits. We cannot ask for our address from an ad. We have to do it through the secondary page.
And Angel's asking, hey, how are we notified when we do land a lead? And I think that's basically going to be either a text notification from kvCORE, or if you have your push notifications turned on with your app, as
Correct.
well as an email. And we may send carrier pigeons. I am not sure at this point.
It's all based on it's all based on how you have kvCORE set up. So
yep.
If you've got it set up to send you text messages, that's how you're going to receive that notification.
Yep. And a lot of folks are asking, hey, why don't I see my sold listings in kvCORE yet? So I believe, and someone correct me if I'm misstating this, as a whole, we're working on with all of the MLSs within North America, Canada, and the States. And it's kind of like herding cats.
Yes.
So we're trying to get all of this information compiled from each of these entities to make sure it matches and is flowing correctly into your databases. So that does take some meticulous checking again, and then checking it again and again to make sure that's flowing. So it is an active thing we're working on.
It also is something that is limited. So for my Canadian friends, I am Canadian myself, and I'm in Canada as we speak today. We don't have the ability to get sold data from Canadian MLSs, so it's not always available. It really comes down to what's available to you in your MLS and what rules they have. So for those of you who can't find your sold listings in the search when you're going and searching for the address, what I would suggest you do is create a manual listing with a type of sold, and then go and do the boost for that listing. So that's the nice thing about what we've released here for Property Boost, with having both the sold template, and I'm going to just jump ahead to the sold template, as well as the ability to boost manual listings, is it really opens this feature up with sold listings to everybody, even if we don't have your listings from the MLS as a sold record.
And that really gives you the ability to have a continued marketing plan to capture other leads that could be interested in the same area to sell their home for your farming, I would think.
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. It gives you that full life cycle. And if you look at similar products out on the market, one of the things that they do sort of, tout is their, full life cycle product. We are getting that full life cycle product together with these 4 different templates. Now you've got from genesis of the listing right through to when the listing is sold. And we have some other tricks up our sleeves for the future in relation to other templates that'll be coming. But this is a really good listing life cycle that if you were to look at this as what can I use to make sure that I'm promoting this listing to its fullest to get as many leads as possible, you're covering a lot of bases with these 4 different templates.
And are they able to edit any of the commentary in the ad itself? Isn't that static and permanent? We generate it ourselves.
It is static. This information that you see at the top of this, the sort of above the photo, the headline, as it were, right. That information is actually really well tested as being high performing. In terms of being just enough information to generate interest and also not enough that I'm answering all the questions up front. So it's a pretty well tested, as well as what you see down the bottom, the thinking about a move, thinking about selling. Those are really well tested headlines that are producing good traffic through the ad. So we don't allow those to be edited at the moment. If you do want to add a little bit more information, one trick to use is to leverage in the PropertyBoost interface, you can actually leverage the compliance text. So if you do have a little bit more, it's only 100 characters. But it's a great. I mean, the feature there is primarily there to satisfy any rules that you have to follow with respect to advertising listings in your area. So if you have to show like the brokerage name, your license number, information like that, you can put it in the compliance text field. But if you don't have those restrictions, you got about 100 characters you can kind of customize with additional details that you could throw in there, like, brand new custom kitchen and roof. I could add that in there. And, that's what's happening at my house right now. I've got a new roof going on to protect my brand new custom kitchen. So, yeah.
And I was just thinking with sold, I mean, if you have a lot of absentee owners and you wanted to boost solds in a specific area where there's a lot of absentee owners, couldn't you boost this and change the targeting? Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah, you could. If you, you want to, click just sold, change the targeting to be a different city.
Right.
This targeting it's a pretty slick little tool.
I love that option.
Especially when, maybe you run a listing boost and you get a little bit of traffic, you get a few leads coming through, you're happy with them, but you want to get more. I mean, run another boost for that same listing, but pick a different city, right? I mean, maybe you're just look at where people tend to go. Where do they work? Are you in a bedroom community? Do you want to sort of like try to draw people from across the other side of the city? You can run there's a lot of tricks you could do just by using this targeting to run the ad and try it out in different ways to see if you can sort of expand your scope of where you're farming.
And what happens if a listing that you have that's live goes pending or contingent? So does the property boost on the active listing still stay, or how does that work?
It'll continue to run. Yeah. So the ad will run through to its completion.
Okay, great. See, I'm looking through the questions.
These are all great questions, by the way.
Yeah, I love them, and my mind keeps going, oh, but what about this? Let's see here. And then some people are asking, hey, if I represented the buyer on a closed listing, will that show up in kvCORE? So that's going to depend on the MLS feed of sold data that pulls in, correctly?
Absolutely. Yeah. So the best way to test this out is go to the homepage of PropertyBoost and enter the boost address, right? So, rather than trying to look for it here in your listings under my listings, for example, search for it here. And if you don't see it and you want to boost that sold listing, go create a manual for it. That's what I would suggest is your best bet.
And I think some people are saying, well, gosh, you know, when it goes off market right now and we try to see it, or if it goes pending contingent, maybe it'll say a coming soon image, right? So this might be a good example for you to create a manual listing, add in those images that you want to use. So it is more polished in that factor.
100%. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. Because if you add a manual listing, you can customize what is, you know, what it has as the image, right? So even if you have a really nice, you know, image where you put an overlay of just sold or something like that, you could put that in there as the as the lead image. So yeah, you can totally change it up. Maybe it's sold in the winter and you want to, you know, you happen to have a picture of it where there's no snow on the ground. You can, you know, then promote it with a more seasonal photo. So the manual listings actually is a really powerful way to use PropertyBoost because it's giving you the ability to kind of customize the imagery on the ad, especially when it comes to the sold ones.
And what type of could you just go through what type of automated communication we do when it lands? Someone's saying, hey, can we get some clarification on what kind of campaign may or may not be attached? What might we need to do as agents and users if we want to make sure communications are firing?
Yeah, so there's nothing by default. So when the lead lands in kvCORE from PropertyBoost, we're leaving it up to you to make sure you're reaching out to them. What I would just reiterate on for the purposes of this group is that every lead that comes in from PropertyBoost is going to have it's going to have two different pieces of information that you can use to automate. So it's going to have a hashtag, which is going to be specific to the listing that you boosted. It's going to be hashtag PB with the first 15 characters. I'm going to put this in the chat just so everybody knows what it's going to look like. It's going to look like this. Of the address. So I've just put that in the chat so everybody's got it, which is you're going to look for those hashtags. The other thing is the source of the lead is going to be PropertyBoost. So you can trigger automations using the marketing functionality in kvCORE, whether it's search alerts, a smart campaign. I think actually I have a small smart campaign that I created for PropertyBoost follow-up. So here's an example that I've created here that has within the first 5 minutes of that lead, 5 minutes after that lead comes in, I'm sending a text message from the agent to the contact. And that is a template that says it's a PropertyBoost initial that I created. And I'm triggering this campaign off of the source. So you can see over here, I've got when it's a new lead and the source is PropertyBoost, I'm triggering this campaign. And where do I find here? I just saw that you viewed one of my listings online. I want to make sure you got the information you're looking for. If you have any questions, please let me know. Cameron Laird, Joseph Macy Realty. So you can create a really simple campaign like this that just gets that first lead, that first contact out to them, making sure they got what they wanted within a really quick time frame.
And I think you could probably, I mean, if you're using Core Premium Video, you could even have a canned message that's like, hey, thanks for inquiring about XYZ property. Here's what to expect from me. And that way you lay out the expectation you'll be in contact. Instead of going, hey, can I reach out? You're saying, no, this is what will happen and I will follow up and do these things.
And I just realized that I only sent my little note about the hashtag. I only sent it to the panelists. I didn't send it to the I didn't send it to the rest of the group. So I'm gonna send it again.
That was a practice run, Cameron.
Sometimes it pays to read the chat because then you see when you do something wrong. So there you go. I just tagged it to everybody again. So
here's a great question from Billy. If I choose to do a manual boost and I boost it for 3 weeks, but at some point within that manual boost, I have it toggled, it's going to go live on the MLS, what happens?
So I think you need to pay very close attention two things I would say with that. Pay close attention to the timing on your boost. If you want to boost a manual listing as like an exclusive, as like a coming soon, we don't technically have a coming soon template right now. So when I do a manual boost, I'm going to go back to my sample one. We don't have the ability to have like a coming soon yet template. So if you're boosting a manual listing as a listing, it doesn't look any different than if the listing was coming from the MLS.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're going to do this and you're going to, boost it as coming soon, like just make sure you understand the rules with your local MLS and your real estate board about how you can advertise them. Because, if it's not on the market, I don't want you getting in trouble. So make sure you're advertising the way that you are following the rules. But technically, if you boost one as a manual because the photos haven't come through yet or the listing isn't available on the MLS, because a lot of times what happens is, you get your listing up, it's on the MLS, it's live, it doesn't get received by us for maybe a day or so. You could get that manual listing up pretty quickly and get it promoted. Once it does come through the MLS, the listing's already been boosted.
Mm-hmm.
So it doesn't really matter that it's come online during the time frame that manual was
still effective.
Boosted. It's still effective.
Yeah.
But just pay attention to your rules around advertising listings.
So if an agent chooses to use like our tool within the listing where they can actually enhance the listing, add in little things here and there, all of that reflects on the link you're providing to the contact, right? So they'll see what the agent did in the enhanced listing or no.
Right.
Yeah.
When they land on it on the web. So for example, if the agent was to have uploaded a different photo for the front of the house, for example, like, this one, you can see there's garbage at the side of the house. This is my house, by the way. So I took this picture and it's like, there's garbage at the side of the house. I didn't like this. So I uploaded a new image through the enhanced listing manager. That photo isn't yet available through PropertyBoost. But when the person lands on the landing page for this listing, any of those enhancements will be there.
I'm going to drop the link to everyone on how to manually or modify, enhance your listing so you have it, because that might just come in handy in general.
That's a really great one.
Yeah. Well, I'm trying, And then what's the average expectation when you order a boost and it goes live?
Typically, we like to say within 24 hours, because it really comes down to when you boost it. We get the ads up and running a few times a day, where we're publishing them a few times a day. But 24 hours is a good rule of thumb because every ad that's created by Facebook goes through a little bit of a learning phase and a little bit of a review phase. So 24 hours is a good rule of thumb.
Is that 24 business hours, Monday through Friday, or what's the expectation for a weekend?
24 clock hours.
Okay, cool. Thank you. I think I'm seeing there's a lot of questions like, well, can I boost a property that isn't mine?
You can. You can.
I'm always like, follow your local rules and regs, get written permission, cover your assets.
Absolutely. You can. The rule of thumb there is that the listing has to be available to you on your website. So basically, when I come into kvCORE here and I go to listings, you can see I've got a column for my listings and a column for company listings. As far as I'm concerned, the furthest you should go is into company listings. You can go into MLS listings and see everything, but unless you can get that listing on your website and have it available for people to see without being logged in first, it's dangerous territory. So make sure it's in the company listing. So here's all the listings that are in my fictitious company. What I should do is I should be talking to Lindsay Matthews. If I want to boost Indian Hill Road, I'm reaching out to Lindsay by email saying, hey, Lindsay, I want to work with you on Indian Hill Road. I got no inventory in my listings. I really need to get some business going. I'm going to send her an email, get her permission, and then all I have to do is click here, go boost, and then it's going to take me to boost this listing in PropertyBoost.
And what I normally encourage folks to do is, talk with your admin or broker for your company office team and see, hey, is everybody good with all of us being able to advertise each other's listings? Because that's all that's basically free advertisement you're not paying for, that somebody else is going to try to move this property for you.
Yeah.
So, when you approach it that way from like a team, you're not like really like a team with them unless you're on the team platform, but as that whole work of a body of work, then you can maybe start getting more exposure to the homes, get more exposure to the brokerage brand, to your brand. I mean, it all works together.
Yeah.
Okay, well, that seems to be a lot of the questions I can speak to, and I think some of these need to be answered offline because they're more direct circumstance.
Yeah, I want to just I'm going to address one more as we wrap up here, because somebody said I went over something very quickly, which is the beast mode that I talked about. So I'm just going to go over that really quickly. And I kind of glazed over it because I was in the midst of talking about other stuff. But what I meant by the beast mode, again, I'm just going to go back down there. Let me pull it up. So this is basically using your contact database to send information about the properties with like email blasts. So what I'm going to do in kvCORE is I'm going to go to marketing, and then I'm going to go to schedule mass emails. And from here, I can actually schedule an email to say all contacts with a hashtag. So I'm going to go back to my hashtag.
Hashtags are life in kvCORE.
That's right. Go to my hashtag. When do I want to send it? I want to send it today, maybe a little later. You can have templates set up, and I'm going to say, hey.
Wait. Do you have the MLS? Is this about a specific listing, Cameron?
It is.
Go into the templates and click new listing.
Oh, there we go.
No, not there. Just type in new listing at the top in the field.
Right here?
See the yeah, right there, new listing. Now all you need to do is put the ID in that MLS ID field, and we fill out the rest. And all you have to do is click send.
So there you go.
We fill out all of this. You can send tests to yourself so you can see it, what the final looks like. But basically, in under 2 minutes, you can send out a new listing announcement, an open house announcement. It's bananas. So then you just choose it and let her fly. Yeah.
So where this ties in nicely with PropertyBoost is I've just generated leads off of this hashtag, right? I've got my 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom home in a specific neighborhood at a specific price point. If another listing comes on the market that matches those criteria, I'm going to put its MLS ID in here. Yep. And I'm going to send this automated. It's going to pull everything together. As you can see, listing description, view listing information. It's going to link to your website. It's got the image, all of that done for you. And all you have to do is click send. And anybody in your database that has this hashtag is going to get that email.
And you can even drop in a core premium video in here, like saying, hey, thanks for, you could say, hey, thanks for inquiring about that other property, because you could refer back to that when they first landed as a contact. Here's the information on XYZ. I'll be in I'll be in contact. And then someone's saying, hey, what is that hashtag that he used again? So basically, you're going to have a hashtag land, Francis, and everyone that'll have like hashtag PropertyBoost. And then like at the address of the property is 123 Main Street, you would go up and you'd search for the hashtag PB 123 Main Street. And then you would send them specific targeted information to try and bring them back to your site, sell them a house, and then get them into your, then they're going to sell and they're going to buy from you again. And there goes your sphere in your pipeline.
Absolutely. That brings us to the end of our time today. And I wish we could have 2 hours for this. Because we're having such great conversation on this topic, but I think there's been a lot to take away from this. If you missed something during the presentation, have no fear. We will send out a synopsis of the presentation along with a recording of the session within the next day or so you can rewatch it, slow it down, speed it up, skip through it however you want. And you'll be able to review all of the information that we presented today. But with that being said, I really enjoyed the conversation with everybody today. Really fantastic questions. And thank you for sticking through to the end for all of you who are still here. And thanks again to my team of folks who've been so wonderful at helping to answer the question as we go. So thanks again. And we'll talk to you soon.